Call the workshop. Great.
Thank you, Chris.
Good time. Confirmation of proper notice.
Notice posted according to statutory requirements.
Roll call you already have. Let's gonna jump right to the bottom and turn it over to you guys. Let you get your stuff done, and then we can have our meeting after.
Okay, thank you so much.
Piper.
I'm Ramona Smith with Blue String Fiber. I'm the Director of Community Relations. And this is Jackie Hand, my Senior Vice President for the state of Florida. And I have also me, Alex Delador, and he is our sales here. So any super technical questions, Alex is going to do that for us. And again, we really do thank you for having us here. We know the decision and make the group, make the village, it seems like, for you guys, and we really do appreciate your time and getting together for this. So I'm gonna check it on off. If you don't mind, I'm gonna clear my screen.
There we go. Hey, Richard. Hey, they're talking about you.
Pam wanted you to know that she doesn't have any voice. She won't be talking much.
Oh, that's really good.
Bill's very happy.
Before we get started, would it be okay if we just talk a little bit about what you're hoping to accomplish? I know this is a big group, and we were able to spend some time a couple of weeks ago and kind of talk about some big plans for the community. As I understand, you are extremely well funded. There's been a lot of work that's been done to make sure that there's fiscal responsibility. There's a plan for the future. But when you're thinking about other things when it comes to telecommunications, TV, and internet service, what are some high-level things that you're hoping for by investigating a Blue Stream or anyone else about TV and internet service?
Something that's cost effective,
Right.
responsive if there's issues would be things.
Liability.
Anybody want to add to that?
You're the IT guy. You got anything?
Well, yeah, I think that service is obviously important, and the reliability of both the internet and the cable are certainly important, and it's also a money factor, cost factor. There's the agreement we have now, I think was a good one. And I think we're paying reasonable fees for the services we're getting. And we want to stay in that ballpark.
I think another thing that I'm concerned is
We all have to speak up a little bit.
as time goes on, our population gets younger. Computers going to become more and more important. At the present time, we have frustration because it's complicated. That may be a situation of education of individuals about today's technology, or it could be a situation where we have people who can't get that technology. So, and looking at something that we need today, it's a pretty broad range of things, because as people come in here, there are many people that are depending on the computer still, for both business and or person. We want to grow. We don't want to stay with what we have today. That also includes the use of the television set. It's becoming more and more important, and we're finding these other things are more and more important. I see it's less likely to be on television than we will be computer in the future. So anyway, that's my feeling. That's what my constituents told me to pass on.
Easy to use.
The one thing I have a question is compatibility. A lot of people have older television sets, and the compatibility of whatever you're going to be offering for a television set that maybe has a different operating system than the Android offers.
That and also computers, of course. We've got both Apples and the desktops, etc., going on, and you guys know more about.
I would call this education.
Right.
We need to be educated about what's out there now, where we can go, where we might go 5 years from now, because the world's changing. So we have to have that flexibility, that compatibility, and we really don't know. We think we know, but we don't know what's out there, what's coming. That's really important, because we're talking about multi-year contracts and investments in underground stuff. This is major decision.
Excellent. That gets us started. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I know I always jump in too quickly, so get excited to talk about this. So, you know what? And I'm so glad that Jackie brought that up, because a lot of the concerns that you have, you just voiced, are really gonna be addressed in this. And this is something that our system, it is something that you grow with, that can be used today and in every way. It is also built for the future. And we mentioned that to John when I was here before. You think of it like a bridge. The future is the bridge, and fiber optic is that new bridge that you are gonna go. You don't want to build that bridge or wait to build that bridge the day you need the bridge. You want to have that pre-planned and inset and in place way before you actually have to need it, even though you're going to cross that bridge today. So this is a really wonderful thing that we are going to address a lot of those concerns that you are having within this presentation. So again, thank you so much for having us. Yeah. Wanna send that in like Chris. I don't know if we want to kind of like hide that, or I can just do it. Hide the comment.
Can you hide the little chat box a little bit?
Yeah, I can turn.
This is mine sharing the screen,
Oh, yeah.
and then so thank you so much for having us here with Blue Stream, and
Get on.
sorry.
Try now.
Sorry. I'm going to do a little run through about Blue Stream. Blue Stream started in 1978 as a cable company, when every little city had its own little franchise cable company. So we've been in business for over 40 years. We've been starting to do fiber to the home starting in 2014. I'm losing my dates for over 20 years as well. We've been bringing streaming TV since 2020 with the TiVo Plus. We were the first to launch that in the country. We have now over 2 million devices connected to our network. And we have over 150 million in annual infrastructure. I am losing my words. I am so sorry. In infrastructure investment. This has made us a really big player in this world. And what our business model is today is not to come into build Bradenton and advertise and build and try to get customers that. What we've learned is that we specialize in HOAs and condo associations and new builds. And what we can do for them is bring them a very specialized concierge type of service that they're not getting from these larger type of cable companies that are in the players today. And that's a big difference that what Blue Stream brings to you can bring. And we're going to go into that because we specialize in just condos and homeowners associations, we are able to bring you so many more specialized customer service guarantees, product guarantees, all these things that you actually were saying that we can do because we do specialize in that. And we have the highest Google ratings of any provider in this country, in the state of Florida. What makes a great partner? And you guys touched upon it before, reliability. Reliability comes with fiber optics. I don't know if anybody knows, but fiber optics is basically a piece of light in glass. It is ever expandable, meaning it doesn't have any capabilities that we're going to have to switch out later. It's actually what powers everything. It powers cell towers. It's what every other provider use. It is the future of them. And what comes with that is the reliability that fiber brings. It is a true, we also rely the reliability of a true wall-to-wall home Wi-Fi system. And we're going to go into that a little bit when we talk about the services. Another reason is that our customer service. We are 100% US-based customer service. So when you call, you're not going to hit India. The person is going to understand you. And we actually put a lot of extras in our customer service SLAs within our contract. One of them being that we're going to average answer time is 1 minute. I'm sure if you've called a Spectrum, hasn't been a 1 minute pickup time. It's been a little bit more frustrating than that. We realize that, and those are the extras that we add to our contract that set us aside from a normal provider. We also have same day or next day in-home service. So there's nothing more frustrating than having your services out and then being told you're going to end of the week that you're going to get services up. And with internet being what it is today, that's not acceptable. It has to be working. It's not just like television. It really does have to be working. How do we do that? By bringing the best technology. So we do a full, as I mentioned, a full home Wi-Fi service, but we also invest in the best equipment. And we're going to go through that again. But it is within that investing in the equipment, investing in the network that allows us to bring, again, the reliability and the customer service guarantees. And what also makes us different is the easy transition, because that's, you know, being in this business for a very long time. I worked for Comcast for many years. I worked for AT&T. We've been doing transitions. A lot of the situations that come up or questions that come up is, how is this going to happen? You're going to rip up my neighborhood. That's not the case. It is really a smooth transition that we've actually perfected by doing this with hundreds and hundreds of associations. We do this through communication, project management, actually doing a lot of training.
Also, fiber is not susceptible to the weather. Underground.
Yes, 100% underground, and we also install that in high density PVC. So everything is below ground, and that in this hurricane world of Florida, it really makes a difference with your network. Especially, you know, we tell the story, Hurricane Ian, we have a lot of properties in the Fort Myers area. They were up. As long as they had power, they had our service. So that made a huge difference to them as well.
That eliminate the towers and everything we have around the property.
Yeah, so those pedestals, amplifiers, and we'll talk about those. We don't have any of those. Our system is underground, buried in high density PVC. We have vaults that are ground level, so you'll never have your landscapers or anybody interrupting that type of service. As well as water can go in it. Again, it's a piece of light and glass. It's not susceptible, as Jackie said, to water and electrical interference, heat, humidity, all the things that we have the lovely Florida has. Back to customer service and employee recognition. We've been named by many of sites, magazines, third parties that have named us really high in not only customer service, but in technology. And we're really proud of all of these, especially the next door one, because that's, as you know, that's not always the most favorable place for people come to air their things. So that we had a really wonderful next door is huge for us, as well as our Google rating. To have a 4.1 in this type of a business, being a provider, is huge for us, and we are very proud of that. What makes us strong? We have very large partnerships with condominium associations, as well as HOAs. But as you being a condominium association, it's very interesting that we have wonderful partnerships. We've got a long-standing partnership with our Kings Point, which is close to 5,000 units. That's in Tamarack, and we actually just signed another Kings Point in Delray Beach, which was 7,200 condominiums. We're very proud of that. We're very close to you guys. We're at that Palma Sola Bay Club as well. So that's in that in this area. And
just to interrupt for a second, you know, what I heard you say, John, I think you said it, was for no neighbors bar. It needs to be, you need to have an eye on the future, but it also needs to be
easy to use, because we're trying to solve for a lot of different people, but we're also saying we need that bridge, a big, strong internet in the future. We want it to be easy. Show Point is a retirement community, so it's 1,900 units. It's one of those beautiful communities where you can move into a single family home, and then as you need additional care, you move into assisted living, you move into nursing care. You can imagine how many different types of people we have to be able to satisfy in a community like that. Kings Point is also very similar. So Ramona's going to talk about this a little bit later on as well, but fiber is really important for technology and a future proofing perspective. But putting the technology into it, and I say technology, and that sounds scary, but we purposely tried to find products that were simple and easy to use. They look just like regular cable television. You turn on the TV, it's on the channel you left it on last night. But we'll have a path to move you into more sophisticated technology like streaming. And then we provide that. So it's the difference between working with, like Ramona said, a company like Spectrum, not saying their business model is right, wrong, or indifferent. It's just it's very different, and that we specialize in serving associations like yours, like Kings Point, like Shell Point, and we understand that part of the expense that we're asking you to pay for every month needs to go into training the residents, and you can understand how to use the technology.
Question. Yeah. Right behind you. That's it, Barbara. That's that on that side. Yeah.
It's already on.
Uh,
They've been turned off.
Get it?
Cold camera. Like Jackie said, what comes with that takes a lot of customer support that we've actually invested and have spent quite a bit of time internally looking at how the best way that we can support our customers in every way. And that comes with a lot of our guarantees, the Bluestream guarantees. So that comes with a local account manager that will be assigned to your account for the term of the contract, not just for the launch, but for the term. Somebody that the board property manager can reach out to when things have not been the way that you want them to. It's a little bit more concierge than you probably ever experienced with your Spectrum account. And it is, again, 100% US-based employees. We have call centers in Port St. Lucie, Orlando, and Fort Myers. So all of those calls, and then they are all also data centers. So if any type of hurricane or any type of thing, just now we do know we have multiple call centers throughout the state that can rotate those calls. And again, have that guarantee in our contract that we're going to have a 1 minute or less hold time to pick up the phone is huge. Those are guarantees that if we don't meet, we actually have financial penalties in our contract for that. So that puts you in that knowing that you are getting that customer centered guarantee, not just at the beginning of the contract, but through the term of the contract. Reliability and reporting. So actually, I'm going to jump into the in-home support. So our same day and next day. So if you call before 2 o'clock, you'll have a text there. If you're out of service, same day. Next day, if you call after 2. Total in-home and training. So we, again, specialized. We went to many outside sources, and I'll talk about that again, to create a welcome kit. We went to the AARP and asked them, how could we make this better? How could we make this more understanding for our residents, our customers? And not everybody needs or learns the same way, but we understand that we had to do, and that cost quite a bit for us to leave for every customer. But we understood that for everybody to understand, not only do we need in-house training when our tech comes there, and we'll spend that time and train them. Sometimes, you're writing things down, you're excited, you're playing with this, and you forget. How did that work? We have multiple ways to train customers. We leave that behind. We have videos on the video portion on the TV. We have even go back. All our call center, they will walk your residents through that. So it's a really robust training. As you said, easy to use. We want them. It is easy to use, and we want them to be able to use all the features of it. And through that training, that's how they do it. Reliability and reporting. So mention reliability. Uptime guarantees are in our contract. Speed guarantees are in our contract. And we actually report on ourselves and tell on ourselves. So just like, did we answer the phone in 1 minute? Did we dispatch same day, next day? Did our speeds match? All those we have given a report. And if we don't meet those, again, there are financial penalties built into the contract because we don't. So that's again guaranteeing that we're going to do what we say, not just saying it. And then we have technology and upgrades. So you're thinking about the future also. We do speed upgrades to your actual internet speed every 2 years automatically. So that comes 100 megabits every 2 years. We do a technology review on year 4. Because just like you don't know necessarily what's going to be coming in the future, we don't know either. You would have told me in end of 2019 that we'd be Zooming meetings. I would have like, what? What's Zoom? That was a show on PBS. It was not what we are. So we don't know what it's going to hold, just like you don't. But we do have it in there that you have that freedom or flexibility to know that, hey, if something did come out that's the latest and greatest and we're able to offer that, that you'll be able to have that. So, as well as the ability to remove video. So again, just like you mentioned that people are moving into streaming, there, TV is being watched today, but we don't know how much TV is going to be watched in the future. We are one of the only providers that offers that anytime after the first anniversary of your contract, you can drop video from the bulk. We will reduce your rate and actually bump your speeds up again another 100 minutes. That would have to be for the whole complex. But it does give, because again, my long history in this industry, what was written in the contract, boom, the whole time, that's it. That's all you got. Can't change it. You can't do anything to it. This flexibility is huge because again, we don't know what's going to be in the future, but it does look like streaming might be taking over. So to have that in your guys' back pocket, that change is a really big deal for us, that we offer that. So
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, George.
Yeah, this is George Fisher. I'm in Palm Tree. Once this investment you keep talking about is done and the cable's laid and everything in the future, who owns this cable? Does Wildwood Springs own this cable now? Or are we able to, if we're not happy with your service, change providers? And do we get to keep this cable?
actually, no. Bluestream would own the network, the actual fiber optic network, just like Spectrum owns their network. So let's say, you won't own the Spectrum network either. Because we do this investment, we pay for this entire fiber network network, the installation, the permitting, the actual meter that runs the actual larger piece of equipment that we place on the property. All of those things that we pay for, as well as the upgrading. You don't really want to own this. You're not a fiber company to have to be able to upgrade and maintain a fiber network. It's a lot. So this is something that we would still maintain ownership. If you would go with us and at the end of that term would not want to come with us, I'm sure another provider would put in new infrastructure as well. But the best part about fiber is that it won't need upgrading. It is the upgrade.
Well, do you come and remove it at that point if we decide not to stay with you as a provider?
No, we do not come and remove it. It would not be really encumbersome to you if we're not your provider in your next contract. It really would not be cumbersome to you. Everything is underground, so you would just be switching to another outlet, basically.
You don't come and remove the meter.
Go ahead, yes.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, first off, we renew about 99% of our communities. They tend to be very happy. We would hope that would be the case here as well. However, if for some reason at the end of whatever the term is, Wildwood says, hey, Bluestream, we're done with you guys. We don't want your services anymore. Get out of here. There's language in our contract that
we would have the ability to come and remove any of the above ground facilities that we choose to remove. Anything that we will leave behind after 90 days, that would include the conduit, to be very valuable, would stay there. 'Cause, I mean, come on, we're not gonna come and spend the money to pull the conduit out. Anything that's underground is most likely to stay, and it would become part of the as. So George, I think where you're going with this might be like, hey, what if we wanted to use some of that infrastructure in the future? Blue Stream didn't use it. There's most likely a way you can accommodate that. The other thing that George mentioned was what happens if we're not good. If we have time today, if we don't bore you too much, you're not scratching at the door to get out of here, we'd love to review our contract and show you some of the details, what it says. First off, there's a default section. So if either party messes up, they have to notify each other that, hey, a mistake has been made. We want you to fix it in 30 days. If it doesn't get fixed in 30 days, the non-default party says you didn't fix it. We're notifying you to terminate. So there's a path to get out of the contract. And then the other thing about that is, hey, what Ramona was talking about with these SLAs, SLAs stands for service level agreement. I had to be taught this, but in our contract, it said we will answer the phone in 1 minute on average, less. We will have 99.9% uptime on our internet. Lots of things. We'll provide referrals and narratives. We don't do that stuff. We pay the association whenever we mess up. So our plan is not to make you rich. Mess up. Because nobody wants that. So that's, I hope that answers the question a little bit better.
And this is just a quick little glimpse of the future. How the United States is turning to fiber. There is a realization that the infrastructure that was laid, and at the time that it was laid, it was the best it was. But that's really meeting its end of life path. So, and this just shows this is really where that future is going to. Again, it is also why associations are choosing fiber. It increases your property value because, again, as you mentioned, younger people are moving down. They are looking at, hey, what is my services? Can I work from home? Can I Zoom from home? Am I getting dropped out? Those are really important aspects. Again, nobody knew that kids were going to go to school for 6 months, almost 9 months at home, also, and streaming and visiting my grandparents, all these different things. Those are items that people are now really consciously thinking about. What's that? Are they there? And with that fiber infrastructure there, it increases that value. There was a study in 2016 that it increases your value 3.1%, let alone 2023, where we're really relying on it. So if you think about that and equivalent that to a guest bathroom, that's a guest bathroom redo that you just didn't have to pay for in some way. I like it like that. And it also, again, what you mentioned, we future your neighborhood. This is something that you won't have to go through. It is not a legacy or a dying kind of technology. It is what really is happening in the future. So you've just future-proofed your neighborhood, raised your value, and also gotten much more reliable service through a fiber network. And why is it different? So this is the typical coaxial network that you have today. So there's a node, and then they have a coaxial wiring, which is that normal wiring that you've normally seen, that white kind of wiring that has copper in it and all types of things that kind of corrode. You usually have to have an amp to boost that signal. That amp has to have a power supply. And there's more coax. Then it gets to your house, and it's in your house, and it has to have amp. Every time you cut down coax, it degrades it. It loses signal. The difference with fiber is we bring fiber into a neighborhood hub, size about a little bit larger than a mini fridge, and then we bring fiber directly to your home. There's no cutting, there's no nothing. There's a fiber strand coming into your home. And that allowed us to have one, improved reliability, the ability to currently offer 10 gigs, in the future of probably 100 gigs. It does future-proof your home, and it increases your value. And you eliminate shared bandwidth. And I'm sure you've all experienced what shared bandwidth is. Around 5 o'clock, 5:30, everybody gets home, turning on TV, playing with their Alexas, doing all this. the system goes slow. That doesn't happen on fiber. You're not getting any of these power situations that can blow all the time. It's because we do have a fiber system and don't have all of that, that we can do those guarantees in our contract of answering the phone in a minute, that we're going to be there same day or next day, because guess what? You don't really have to do that often because it doesn't go break as a. So those are really big deals. And this system powers all the devices. So we talked about future-proof trends before. The trends is that we have a lot of devices in our homes. I think, today, if you think about it, you probably have at least 20 devices in your house. You really think about all the little things that connect to your Wi-Fi. By 2030, the average home is supposed to have 75 devices connected to their home. We're talking little, you forget little light bulb, your Roomba, your Alexa. If you have 5 of them in the house, all these little things that do connect to your Wi-Fi that eat your bandwidth. That these are the things that you're going to want to have running all the time.
A quick question here. The wiring comes through the home. All these homes have old wiring. What effect does that older wiring have on your coming in?
None at all. We don't touch any of that wiring. That wiring is coaxial wiring. We bring fiber directly into the home, and then pretty much all of our services are wireless. So you'll see, and we're going to go through that in a little bit. So again, what makes our home Wi-Fi better? Because we do whole home Wi-Fi. And currently, you probably have, you're really close to the router, works great. The further you walk, your bathroom, your bedroom, your patio, doesn't work great. With our system, we actually bring in the router. The router modem, it's a fiber router modem, it's called an ONT. And then we actually go through, our techs will go through the home and check where you need signal. Is it the back bedroom? Is it the back room, the closet area? And we'll install these. And these are very sophisticated boosters, but they also do a lot more. But these will also make sure that your service and the signal that you're supposed to be getting in your home is the signal throughout the home. And that's a big difference because all those devices I just mentioned are working on Wi-Fi. And what is Wi-Fi? So we're in charge of internet. Now we're in charge of Wi-Fi in a way. But Wi-Fi are the signals in your home that they all compete. So your alarm and your Nest and your Alexa and your phone and your watch all are competing for these signals in your home. What that our system does, it actually manages that. So they don't bump into together and have issues. It allows it to really run smoothly, as well as know where you're using that bandwidth. You might have a back bedroom that it's the guest room, nobody goes in it, and then you're in your front bedroom, you're working away. It knows it has AI in it, so it knows, hey, there's more signal up there because they actually use it up there a lot more. A lot more devices are using up there. It knows how to optimize itself, and that's a huge difference. And
Real-time optimization, in other words, so in that example, when I go to use the back bedroom, what do I get?
you'll get that same signal.
Yeah, no. So it optimizes based on your normal usage. So if you use a lot of bandwidth in one room, it'll do what's called beamforming and like focus the signal in that area. But that's not to say it won't re-optimize. Let's say you go to a new room that you don't use frequently, it'll still give you the speed that you need there. It just knows that you don't go there as often as like your main room or your office.
I've got guests in my bedroom now. It automatically would say, oh, there's Wi-Fi there, and it would go.
All right. It'll automatically optimize for those devices. And to give you an example, we all have showers right in our houses, and when multiple people take a shower at the same time, what happens? You lose water pressure, right? So what the system does is it kind of boosts the pressure, if you will, for those devices to give them good experience when they're using it. So that's what it does. It kind of helps load balance everything between all the devices.
If we're sitting in a house, we have a limitation of how much. I've got 5 rooms going full blast. Will it be stealing from one room to pay to give it to the other?
So it depends on a couple things. One of them is the internet speed that you subscribe to. So if you're at 500 megs and you have a lot of people using it, then you can't really pass that. But what it does is it senses and it knows what your internet speed is, and it'll balance it out based on what your subscribed speed is. So it's a really smart system. What I like about it is things that are more important, like Teams or Zoom, or when you're working from home, it knows that you're working from home and it'll prioritize those over something like a gaming system or somebody streaming Netflix. What happened a lot during COVID is when people were working from home, regular router, somebody streaming or the kids playing Xbox, you can't really get on Zoom. Our system knows if you're working and it'll prioritize that so you can have a successful Zoom call and not give all that extra bandwidth to something like the Xbox when they really don't need it because you're working from home. So it helps prioritize things as well.
So basically, if I find something being less than it was on the optimum basis, it's because of my home and my draw from it, my next door neighbor.
Correct. Yeah. So we dedicate bandwidth to each home. So if your subscribed speed is 500 megabits, you can use the full 500 24/7. Your neighbor, if he has 10 gigabits, which is our highest package, it's not going to affect your speed in any way because it's not a shared environment.
So part of your package costs
Yes.
per house.
Yes, and it's 500 by 500, and that's another big huge difference, that our speeds are symmetrical. And symmetrical means that the download is the same as the upload. What does upload mean for you guys? So previously, upload wasn't that big a deal. Not many people were YouTubers, right? You're not uploading it. Nowadays it is. The cameras, anything that talks back to the internet is uploading. So your Ring doorbell, your Nest, all that's kind of talking back up if you want to log into that. And soon, really, we're going to be home health care, in which there's going to be a device in your home that's going to monitor your health. And that information is being sent back to the doctor, to the hospital. That's when the reliability and having that symmetrical speed is going to be mission critical, really, really. Because those are the times that symmetrical speeds, and really we're adding so many more devices that symmetrical speeds are needed. So that is a really big difference because not to put them down, but typically a Spectrum will offer, if they offer a 500, never usually guaranteed, their upload speed is maybe 20. And you can see that's a huge difference. And that's if you're getting that 20. So again, people working from home, uploading files or video calling, that Zoom is an upload. So all of those things really, really matter. And they're more embarrassing than proving up on a
Typical household.
oh yeah.
People that might be working.
Yeah, yeah. And because we are getting speed upgrades every 2 years, you know that system is growing with you as your device.
I think I saw in here, like, so there's options where, say, I'm a home, but I'm using a whole lot like I individually could.
Yes. Yeah.
Is the Wi-Fi 2G and 5G?
Yes.
Okay.
Right now, so we have dual band 2.4 and 5, and then when Wi-Fi, 7, everybody's talking about 7. We don't have it today, but in the future it would be 6 gigahertz. It would be 2, 5, and 6. And that's just one example that we're always growing to improve the technology. When it becomes available, that's something that would show up in your homes.
I have one device that will only work on the 2.4, and I have fiber just at another property that only has 5. So, and you can turn it back temporarily, but when it goes back to 5, it cuts off the product. It won't.
Doesn't work with the 5.
Yeah, it just won't work.
So it'll work just fine with ours because it has 2 separate ones. And you're exactly right. Some older devices like printers or old cameras, they only work on 2.4.
Yeah.
So they work perfectly fine with our system.
And talking about the 500, I can't imagine at today's usage, what we all have, computers, TV, downstreaming, 500's a lot.
Mhm.
I mean, that's incredible.
We're getting 200 now and 200, maybe 250. And we have very little problems with streaming.
No.
No, I understand that. Yeah.
Again, once 4K comes out and Netflix movies will be coming in 4K, the download speed you're going to have for that is going to be tremendous. Again, and then the last part about our system too is really important. it's the security aspect of it. So our system comes with a network security. And again, as I mentioned, all these devices are coming into your home. Previously, we used to have to worry about our laptop or our computer being attacked. So the attacks aren't coming on those anymore. The attacks are coming on your Roombas. The attacks are coming on your Ring doorbells, on your sound speakers. And guess what? You can't do on those. You can't add an antivirus software on those. So what our system does, it stops it at the network level before it even gets to any of your devices. You can see where it's happening. There's an app that comes with this device, our system, and that you can actually see where those network attacks are coming. You can actually create a separate sign in and password if you have guests. You can turn off devices if you have your kid, your grandson, enough with the PlayStation, done. You can turn off a device. But for the person who doesn't want to do all that, all they know is it works great and I feel safe. And that's a big difference.
Are you saying that you offer virus protection?
Yes.
Yes, no, back in the day, you used to have to download an antivirus to your computer, your laptop to protect that one device. But that was only for that one device. What our system offers is network level security. So anything that connects to your Wi-Fi, it protects it with the same level of protection. So it blocks bad websites, it blocks like malware sites, it can block ads. And it also can tell you if somebody from the internet is trying to get into your network, it'll block it and it'll show up in the app. So just like you have, a security system for your house, now you have a security system for all of your internet devices.
This doesn't negate the need for individual virus.
It's always good to have the antivirus, and I know like Windows now has it built in. Most devices have it built in, like Mac computers, things like that. They have their own. This is kind of like supplemental to that. It works pretty good. You don't have to have one, but just like with home security, right? You don't just put window sensors. You also have cameras. You also have a door lock. There's different components to a security system, and that's why I always recommend. Even our system is really good, but it's good to have some other things to kind of back that up or complement the system as a whole.
You mentioned Ring devices and things like that. Well, they have to be recalibrated into this system. We had a new modem that went crazy. But all these devices have to be reloaded.
So yes, they would have to go over to the network, but the one great part is that when our technicians come to your home to do the installation, they'll transfer the devices that you want over to the new network. Printers, your Alexa, whatever you would like.
Big deal.
It's a massive deal, and that's something that we know that isn't a big deal to associations, and that's something that again sets us apart from a spectrum that would just mail out something and hey, have at it. Good luck. So let's talk about our TV service, and it is a fabulous TV service. It's all in one. In fact, that is a wireless device. So you're never locked to that wall anymore, that you have that wall cable coming out. You can now put your TV anywhere you want. You just have to connect this to the television and to a power source. It is all HD, and we have a voice remote.
Is that similar to the Apple TV?
Yes.
It's similar to Apple TV, but
Looks like it.
Yeah, this runs Google or Android, but our system works with Apple, and I don't want to get ahead of Ramona, but it'll work with Apple.
so what's lovely about this, it's just like traditional TV. You put on the TV, the channel that you put on, go to bed, channel that you turned off, turn on the TV in the morning, it's on that same channel, not having to dig in anywhere. It's a voice remote. You're not really having to learn all new channels, all new anything. You say the channel, you say the show, you say the actor, and it comes up. It also can search through multiple different type of other streaming services. So in a traditional service that you probably have today, you actually have to, if I wanted to search for George Clooney action movies, I'd have to go search regular TV, then I'd have to get out, go into Netflix, search for Netflix, not there, go into Hulu, go into anyone that I subscribe to search. What's lovely about ours is that it searches across multiple platforms. And the fact that I can say George Clooney action movies, and it now searches live TV, our video on demand library. If I subscribe to Hulu, Amazon Prime, Netflix, any of those streaming services, it searches within those, and it gives me a list of everywhere I could watch that. Oh, right there, free, boom. I can do that. It also has some really cool features that I use a lot. It does a start over. So let's say you come 15 minutes after the show started, I hit A, boom, it starts over. You want to start the show over? Yeah. And then I can actually even fast forward to commercials. I can also go catch up. It goes 72 hours back into the guide. So let's say I missed a football game or an award show or something that I wasn't, or even the news. A lot of times people love that to watch it in the news 2 days later. I can go back 2 days and 3 days and 72 hours in time, watch it. Or fast forward to the commercial.
Did Michigan win last night?
Yeah.
Barney might want to know. It's also lovely in the fact that it has the Google Assistant, and another fabulous feature that I love because I watch a lot of propagating plant videos and horoscope stuff. So I can say, hey, what's what's Virgo's horoscope for January? It now brings up YouTube videos, and I can go through that. I can look up how to make a pot roast or how do I improve my golfing, and YouTube videos will populate or other aspects. And when I'm done with it, I hit live TV and I'm back right where I was.
You said good question. You have to be right now.
You'll get commercials, obviously, to the YouTube app. But again, if I search, hey, give me the traffic getting to Tampa Airport, real-time traffic on there, and losing my vision. I love seeing it on a big screen. I got a big TV. I don't always want to see something on a small phone or just a laptop. It's a lovely aspect that anything that you would have searched Google, you can now bring it up on your television. It's fabulous.
So are you in effect saying it eliminates something like a Roku?
Well,
That's
Yeah.
right.
this is the
Yeah.
Roku, yes.
It is a Roku.
Yes. Any television, as you mentioned, smart television. You don't have to be a smart television. It makes it a smart television.
These are all part of the standard package.
Yeah.
You get one of those per house too.
It's also the last part of it is you can also the DVR, network DVR. So you're recording to the cloud. You're not tied to, oh, I can only record 3 or 4 shows at a time. You're not having a DVR hard drive in your home that's going down and you lost all your recordings. You actually can record to the network, and you can access it off of any television. You record 100 shows if you wanted at one time. This is also lovely in the fact that we are also one of the only providers that allows you to use other devices on our network. Meaning you can use an Amazon Fire Stick, an Apple TV box, or an Android TV box as another fully functioning set-top box. So if you have a third TV or a back bedroom or a patio you wanted to use it on, do that. A lot of snowbirds love this aspect because now if they're up north, they don't need to have a cable television subscription. They can watch their television off of this device as well as their recording. The only channels that you're not allowed to take out of the network are the local channels typically. But there is a workaround on that if you want to do it to DVR. So that's a really wonderful thing. Again, we're not taking this on dime, our partners. We have a lot of different ways that, hey, if you want to not use ours, you don't have to. But if you wanted to have a third box from us, you can rent another box from us. So you have a lot of different options and features to use this. And another big aspect is that on this, again, in my little career, I used to get asked, hey, do you have this TV channel? Or do you have dog TV? Do you have yoga TV? Do you have Korean TV? You don't have to. We have a very, very robust channel lineup. But for those really specialized channels, they have an app on the Google Play Store, which Google Play Store has over 5,000 apps. You can download that to your box and now watch it on your television. That's huge because before you'd have to download it to your laptop and you can only watch it on there. Now you can download that, any kind of channel, any kind of thing to your box, and you have that access, and it's lovely.
Can you go over the one thing you said about, oh, you go up north, access the app portion of what you downloaded down here? No.
So you would download the app, let's say the Blue Stream app, to your device, and you now get all of your channels and your DVR. The only difference is that you wouldn't have this voice remote aspect to it. But again, taking this up north, it eliminates a lot of people's cable bills, because now they're seeing every channel that they're paying for here up there. Or when you travel, anywhere you go.
Think that to TV or only to left?
No, you can connect it to the TV. Usually has a USB.
HDMI.
Yep, like an HDMI device right there. We just have this phone.
That is the Blue Stream app right there.
Mhm.
All right. So you can download the app on, if you have an iPad or if you have an Android tablet, if you have an iPhone, Android phone, you go in the App Store and you can download the Blue Stream app. And it's just like Netflix. You sign in with your email and your password, and then you get your full channel guide, minus there's a few channels on there that don't show up because of their licensing.
So you don't have to have that device.
You don't need that device unless you want to watch it on TV. So
That's for the TV.
if you have like a Google TV or Fire TV, because now Amazon makes TVs now, you can download our app directly to the TV. But if you don't have a smart TV, or if you don't already have a device, something like a Fire Stick will work, or an Apple TV, or Google TV box. There's a variety of different ways to download the app.
Portability.
It is. We also have phone service. So for those, we know that, traditional phone service has gone down, but there's actually quite a bit of residents that do like having traditional phone service. So we do have it. It's 29 calling features, local long distance, United States, Canada, Puerto Rico, Guam, and US Virgin Islands. No, that, exploring that be fun. So what makes this special? We have invested quite a bit in making our network a redundant system. And redundancy is a friend to you. Redundancy means that it has fail-safe. So if something goes down on one end, it goes up on another. We're building a 400 gig ring throughout the state of Florida. We have local rings, and we tie you guys into that so that you do have this redundant network, meaning so that we can put those guarantees in our contract. Again, if one way goes, it's for some reason gets hurt, it knows to route it the other way. And having that redundant system is another reliability aspect that really sets us apart from other providers, because we do invest so much into that system and network.
Can you just, so you create a network in this, you have another network, another network. How are you connecting them?
So once we
Together,
get,
like as a backup?
So we create we create a network that has redundancy for all of our properties, and what that means is it has a backup connection if something happens to one of them, it fails over. So with most providers, they'll build out to a community, but they're following a single path. They have one connection. What if they're doing construction out and they hit the line, right? They could potentially knock out every single home in the neighborhood. So we build protection. So we have like 2 devices of each type in our cabinet to make sure that there's 2 routers, there's two servers just within your network to help protect your network. And that's why we're able to offer guarantees in our contract, because we build our networks. We've actually designed our networks around hospital requirements. They require two connections, 2 batteries, 2 different types of servers, and that's how we deploy it for our communities. And that way, it's able to have that same level of uptime reliability.
Takes out that one box to redundancies, or then we're.
That is the one. I've never seen anybody take it out, and in some cases we put like concrete poles, like they put them around it so somebody can't just drive into it. But to this day, I've never seen anybody hit one.
So again, back to the customer service aspect. The reason that we can do that is because we flip the script. But traditional providers, you know, you have a problem, you call in and then they send out. What we've done is we've done a lot of proactive things. We've invested into a network that has redundancies. We have a system and our net and a NetOps, a NOC that goes through all of our devices, all of our routers every night, checking light level, making sure preemptively to make sure that there's no issue. We've actually even reached out to customers saying, hey, you know what? There's something wrong with the light levels. We're noticing something wrong. Before you even have a problem, we want to address this. And that's a big difference. So we proactively do, and we respond quickly, and it's fixed. And then that's the reason, again, that our model can offer those service level guarantees in it. To it. So how do we do the build out? So we've already done a site survey of your community, and I actually have a map of how that network would go. But we typically, when a contract is signed, that triggers everything on our side. Design and network design, how we're going to engineer it, the permits. We call in all the locates. We do all of that pre-work. What I mentioned, that we get a power source for our cabinets. All of those things go into that pre-design. Then we have what we call a launch party, and it is a construction where we go over with the board and show you where we're going to be doing, how we're going to be doing it, and we actually make all the introductions with our team. We have a project manager assigned to you. We have a construction manager assigned to you. We have a partner manager. We have quite a bit of people that go into planning this because, again, all we do are takeovers. And we know that doing them well, really well planned, is the best route and the best result for everybody being happy. And we know that with time, and again, not trying to be rushed, is the best also route. That's why looking at this today is a big deal, because rushing doesn't help anybody. We can get it done and we still have our guarantees in there, but when anything rushes, there's a lot of things that sometimes are out of our control, like permitting and inspections and so forth, that really kind of mess that up. Then we do an install. So once our whole network is built out and engineered and tested, then we start our launch. And our launch is where we reach out and we're going to do a lot of communications with the residents. Wonderful news. The Bluestream network is ready to go. Let's sign up for your installation. We won't go into necessarily anyone's home without them there. We'll do the installation prior to your current contract expiration, so that you basically have a dual network before anything. So you'll know the system is working before your other network is down. And then once that date of your expiration comes, of your current contract, that's when ours really takes effect.
That's one of my favorite things, by the way. Put it out on my wife.
So again, as I mentioned previously, our 100% fiber network, all of it's in high density PVC, which is that orange piping you see. We don't have any pedestals. Everything is underground. Here is a vault, and that's where we do our splicing. Again, water can go in there. It doesn't matter. The landscapers go over it. It's wonderful. We have a weekly meeting. It can be 5 minutes, be an hour, depending on how's everything. Touching base with you guys during that whole construction process. Has there been any issues? What's happening? This is where we're going to be. And again, when I say construction process, it's not 6 months where you're going to see somebody digging. That's not the case. It's usually a very short period of time, and the rest of that is the engineering and the planning and the permitting. We repair as we go. So you'll see this is an open trench where we're laying, and then this is a couple weeks after. Where grass didn't hit, we put new sod, where we put new plants. You check, we make sure that we leave your property and your landscaping better than we left.
Are you going to trench everything, or do you do any boring?
There is some boring. We try to do mostly as much as we can trenching.
Yeah.
We'll do boring, like if we have to go under a road.
Right.
But before they do that, they always call for locates. They have a lot of systems that help us identify anything that might be there.
Cable, right?
Right.
Cable replacement there around here, they don't get that.
Right.
3 inches under the surface.
If it's
Right, and
under
then
it
it
at all.
gets, and then it's rain, and then you get interference from it. So once we do our installation, you'll see that the fiber line will come into the home, go into the router, and then from there, everything is wireless. So our tech is there mostly pulling that last piece of fiber in, installing that, installing the cable boxes, and then really a lot of it is in moving your devices over to the network, making sure that the signal is good throughout your unit, and knowing where to place these based off of that, because somebody might have a mirror somewhere that it's interfering where you might not. So that might change where that is placed. And then the rest of that time that tech is there, it's really educating, talking about how to use our products, where you can find things, teaching them, playing with it. It is really an educating, mostly of an appointment than an installation. But we go through that with every resident that can have that installation prior to be
Question for you.
activated.
When you bring the fiber, I don't know if you've looked at the plans on our units. Where would the fiber come into the unit?
So I know that you have, everybody has different configurations. So some of the bottom ones, it would just be coming in through the back. We went to your unit.
Have an area, cable is all.
A lot of times we follow that same path.
My unit, that comes into a storage closet on the lanai.
Okay.
That's typical.
Yeah.
So can you put that device, your router,
Mhm.
your Wi-Fi, can you put that in that closet? And then that's,
You have power in that closet? Is there a power source in there?
Should be one outlet.
one, I think.
I would recommend. The 9
Anyway.
Yeah.
Put it down,
Wait, I thought the router. Near the TV.
Well, that's
Yeah, no,
Oh, that's one.
connected to the television. Everything else is wireless.
maybe out. But because we need to have a relationship between these two things, we close together in the unit, and we want these to be in air when it all possible. So I would recommend that if things look good.
That storage closet,
It's
most of us is not air conditioned.
right. So I would recommend that if we do want to move forward, we do another more thorough investigation and look at it. We can place the fibers, we don't have to do it out.
But that would mean you'd have to bring the fiber, if you come in at the back, you're gonna have to bring the fiber farther through the unit to get to that point.
Right.
And we do that now with the cable.
Yeah.
It comes in and goes up over the ceiling and down the wall and then through.
I think we have guidelines now, though, condo, condominium side, where if internally the cable needs to be replaced, have has to follow certain paths. Middle of the room. I thought there was some
Then
kind
your
of
closet back
guidelines.
up to your master bedroom.
Yeah.
So you can just go right, that go 3 feet over and you're.
Got to be 500 pounds.
Yeah, and again, it's,
So I haven't personally seen, fortunately, the site survey here, but I know the construction team came out. Generally with condos, what they do is they do what's called an exterior post wire. Well, they'll have like a piece of condo like this that runs up the side, and then they'll get outside of units. They'll try to find a side where they can get a living room or bedroom somewhere that's as centrally as they can. Obviously, it might not be easy, but we'll look what possibilities are out there. Once they get inside, we have a product called the Invisalign. It looks like fishing line, the fiber optic cable. They'll come in, they'll come down onto the baseboard, and then what they'll do is they'll go around the perimeter of the room, and then they'll glue it to the baseboard, and it dries clear. Once it's on, it's virtually impossible to see it, and you can paint it over as well. The fiber line is very thin, much thinner than a coax cable. We've all seen Spectrum staple a cable line. You can see it pretty obvious. With ours, you cannot even see it, and that helps us move the modem to somewhere that makes sense.
That dog proof.
Talking about urinating. Go on top. We can go over there. Yeah. Okay. Views on. And he comes out to be a little fight.
Well, beforehand, that would.
And one more thing to your question, doesn't really matter so much where we put the modem because we do the Wi-Fi pods. So they're gonna distribute the Wi-Fi regardless of where the modem goes inside the home.
So as I mentioned, the install, typically, again, it's 2 to 3 hours. But again, most of that time is for education. You might have a resident that says, hey, you know what, I got this, I know how to do it, bye. But for the resident that wants a little bit more, we're there. We've already allocated all that time with them, as well as leave behind books. There's videos, they can now even say it to the remote, hey, how do I blank? And video can populate in pieces, as well as having a really great reference for that book.
One other thing on those lanai closets, and I'm assuming that's going to be the typical entrance point for, I don't know, 80% of the units. That unit is, or that room is, the wall that separates that from the bathroom, I mean from the bedroom, is a stud wall, but it's got lab and plaster on, and about 3/4 inches of plaster and a metal lab. And I don't know how much that would affect the signal trying to get out of there to get to the other unit.
Right. They would want to put, they would want to put the Wi-Fi inside.
Not in that closet.
Not in that closet,
Yeah.
just because it might not go through as good.
But this looks like my closet.
Barb, you need to speak up according to the Zoom people.
Okay. But it looks like a lot of equipment that we have.
Oh, yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a cable that comes in, runs all the way over to the bedroom and along the floor and then into the living room. It's nice.
Picture of what's in my bed. Yeti.
And again, the ability to move your TV from a different wall and not have to have that spaghetti is huge also. So part of our again, I skipped over. This is a wonderful slide in the fact that it talks about our NPS rating. And NPS is a scoring system that rates businesses in a lot of different industries. We are very proud because we've been rated very, very high, especially in the industry that we are. Typically, providers rank in the low negatives. We're really, really proud of where we are, and we got there because of what we do. And again, it's not only the product and that fiber, but it is what makes Blueprint different in the ongoing support that we provide our partners. Again, we call you guys partners, not just customers, because we do know that this is a partnership. For us to be successful, we want you happy, we want to be happy, and we want you guys to be happy because we've invested so much in telling all your neighbors about us and how happy you are about it. So that comes with a dedicated account manager to help John get through any type of issues that may arise in a transition. We have community hotline. We actually create a special number for your community that goes into our call center so that when you guys call in, our call center already knows, well, they're calling from Wildewood Springs. They're in a double bulk. This is the services they receive. What's going on there? Not this, hey, oh, what? I don't know. You might get it. They might know that you're in a bulk. They might not know you're in a bulk when you call in today. Some of your residents probably not even receiving bulk services because they didn't know when they called in for service. And then we have an online learning hub. And again, everybody learns very differently. Might not even care about it today. I want to learn about it tomorrow. So we do have ongoing resources. We do ongoing workshops, town halls, when different times of the year that your residents need to have that support. Yep.
Earlier you said that. is. Do you contract with local?
So we do hire local people. I mean, this is the best part about us, that we are a Florida-based company. So we hire local people that live in the area. You know, our call center is full of local people who live in that area. So again, because we've invested in the fiber, the best product, best infrastructure, we don't have to have as many dispatches. We don't have to have as many texts as the Spectrum does. Our stuff doesn't break down. We don't have to have that ongoing thing. So we know that where to place our technicians, and we do have the more customers, yes, we have the more techs we do hire, but we cannot make that guarantee in our contract without having that support to be there for you.
Who owns you?
We are owned by a company called BI Partners.
Yes.
A large fund. We are part of their infrastructure portfolio. Our CEO is also an owner. So he has a very invested, and he spends his time invested in the company. Really cares very deeply about not only our partners, but the reputation of Blue Stream, because he has a really big vested interest. And again, we are part of their infrastructure portfolio, because fiber optic is looked as an infrastructure. It is looked at what is the future. It's something that infrastructure, when you think about it in the head, it's not something that's gone tomorrow. It is something that people invest in for the future. And that's what we are part of.
We haven't gotten into programming at all.
Nope, I'm going to talk about that. So the bulk proposal is your digital core lineup. And our digital core lineup is over 300 channels. All the channels come in HD that are available in HD. So you're not paying extra for HD. It's an extremely robust channel lineup. Again, I've been in this business a long time. A lot of channels that are on our core have been channels that other providers have just moved up to higher tiers to get more money. So our Turner Classic movies are on there. The golf channel, the tennis channel, the Lifetime movie channel. We've actually added over 50 new channels to that core lineup in the last year and a half. That is something no other provider is doing. That's a big deal.
Live TV
Oh yeah, that's your local channels. That's, you know, your FX, your AMC, your ESPN, your Disney, all of those.
There's a list.
There's a whole,
I'm trying to figure that out. Bush.
there's a channel lineup.
That's digital core, the music, and then
Yeah.
TiVo.
Core, the channels, all
It's all
All of basically the same as what they did.
There's another
Yep.
page. Digital, these are upgraded. Yeah.
What you don't.
What we don't have.
Yeah.
Any news items for people mentioned that we don't have. That's a local.
That's
Okay, that's the deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. The part of the proposal also includes 2 of these DVR wireless top boxes with the voice remote. It is part of our streaming library app, so we have a very, very robust video on demand library, and you also get the mobile TV app. The internet service that we're proposing is a 500 megabits by 500. So again, symmetrical speeds, automatic speed increases every other year. You get the total home Wi-Fi, and we guarantee that in our contract as well, you will have access to 4K as well. So 4K is the I don't know, what's the word I'm trying to think? It's the measuring tool, exactly. The measuring tool by which guarantees are given. So you're not only going to get 4K when that programming comes out on our box, because our box is already 4K ready, but we're also guaranteed that you're not going to have any issues streaming 4K, and that's a big, big deal. And the bulk rate is $73.50 for that first year, starting in
That plus that, or is it-
plus tax. And I gave you that.
that includes or not, it's not, doesn't include
That does not include taxes and fees.
Which range about how much?
I think that was, when I gave you that sample invoice, I think it came about 225, either 225 or 250 in taxation. What we like to do with our partners, we actually allocate more of our rate and cost to internet because internet is not taxed. Video services are pretty highly taxed by the FCC government.
So just real quickly, though, I do want to clarify, I come from a cable background as well, from Comcast. And the way Comcast used to do things, they would tell you the whole rate, and then they would say, oh, and there's broadcast TV. And then they would be separate. So that rate includes all of the broadcast TV, sports TV, what it doesn't include the government.
So the door fee is a very common practice in our industry. It is basically a signing bonus that Lucy will pay to the association, a one-time $250 per home signing bonus. So the way we break out that fee is we pay 50% of it 60 days after a contract is signed, and then the other 50% 60 days after the activation of your contract. So that'd be in October of 25. So that's a great, wonderful benefit. And that's many associations we work with use it for upcoming projects. If they need reserve. Sometimes they use it to allocate towards the rate, whichever you like, that is your money. Oh, wait, back. It includes the Wi-Fi router. You're not paying extra for a router. You're not paying extra for the Wi-Fi equipment. You're not paying extra for security. You get the installations included. Your broadcast TVC, your HTC, you're going to get a community channel, which I know that you guys utilize for meeting notices, and you can really save a lot of money in notifications. And we're going to do complimentary services for the office and the clubhouse and pool for the term of the contract. So when you think about all those cost savings also, that's a really big savings, and that it adds to that.
Would that include complimentary services for our security cameras that are not functioning?
We would supply the Wi-Fi or the internet service for that.
Is that considered a
Complimentary.
or it's complimentary?
That's part of the complimentary service.
So that's not part of 500.
Right. Like, so for John's office, in the clubhouse, we would be supplying internet services and TV if you need it, but internet services for the term of the contract. So when you think about how much you're paying for office services on a monthly basis over that time frame, it is quite a bit of a savings for the association on a whole.
I don't see Netflix on your list.
But so Netflix is a streaming service. So Netflix is automatic. It comes automatically already as part of the box. So if you subscribe to Netflix, you would just have to. I mean, you can even hit Netflix on our remote, and you'll get access to Netflix. You have to subscribe to Netflix. But you could just say Netflix, take you right to Netflix. And actually, Alex will when we do a little quick demo of the TV services, you can see how it flows to it. There's a TiVo Plus now.
There's no subscription service included.
Right.
Yeah.
They had me before that.
Yeah. Not the sports. Not the sports.
Not the food, could be extra.
Yeah. Wait, again, just an overview, and I know I'm running over time's up almost soon. So again, I know you guys are considering transitioning from a Spectrum. What we bring from a provider like a Spectrum is that you are guaranteed a full fiber optic network. They are doing a node split. They're going to tell you that you might not need it. Those are really important aspects that you are going to be a full fiber to the home system. You're going to get service level guarantees that no other provider can provide you. Those are huge. Automatic symmetrical speed upgrades. Flexibility in the agreement to drop cable, to have a technology review, to broadcast TV fee included, because a lot of times Spectrum really does add that on, and it's quite a bit of money. And actually, they just had a rate increase. You're going to get a true whole home Wi-Fi, adaptive Wi-Fi, that's not only going to give you the security, but also the bandwidth and the network speed you need. So those are really big differentiators from a Spectrum system and a Spectrum contract. And real quick, this would be we just added our preliminary network design. So anywhere you see the yellow, that's where fiber is. That's how we would build out. And I know this is part of it, but it was on multiple pages. We had to prep it. And what the red little dots are what they call, that's where you see those faults. This is the actual OTN, that's the cabinet that we bring all the fiber into, as well as all the fiber out of. And it has a backup generator. Very clean, neat, the meter, all that. Again, a little bit about us. I know this is going a little longer. We currently service over 300,000 residents in over 150 homes. We're in Southwest Florida. We started out as in Broward County and Coral Springs, but we are now in Jacksonville, Tampa, Naples, Miami. We are really investing in growing this business, because we do know that fiber optics associations are looking for a different alternative, what they have been experiencing, and to be able to have fiber when they want it. And just a little bit, we do have, and I added a little hurricane contingency plan to your packet, but we do have tremendous hurricane contingency that is on our mind. We are a Florida-based company. We know what to expect when hurricanes come and how to react. Just a little bit. That's where the fiber comes into. So you'll see it's a very clean, neat, and then installed. That is it.
You out of time?
Are we out of time? Do you guys want to see a quick little demo of the video services?
I just said, why was it and 2 and 3?
No, they're not.
Only C-SPAN.
Well, I don't think C-SPAN is a private.
C-SPAN is included in your base digital.
Video.
They actually are a pay channel that program we have to have as a programmer. And again, we were trying to add a pay channel that has much variety. Sometimes CSPAN is not as highly ranked as 32.3 as viewership compared to some other channels that we could have added.
What is the length of the contract?
It is a 10-year contract.
And I see a 5% increase per year maximum. Is there a maximum that it can go up 10 years? Or is that a
It's capped at 5% a year. Can't go up more than that.
So we could have 50% increase a year. And
I just have
That's what Spectrum is right now, same thing.
it says, whatever.
not a negative.
You know, like,
They'll cover the annual programming.
No,
Or
so
what
that's
do you mean by that?
that means for us to support this channel line. So again, we haven't taken away a channel. The only one was recent, within the last 2 years was TV Global, which is a pay channel, actually. So that cost every year,
So it's your cost.
it's our cost. That's helping us provide that cost, because every year, every channel, ESPN, an ABC, HCTV, all of those channels pass along their cost to us, their increase. So obviously we can't constantly absorb that cost. So that is where that 5% comes in, as well as the maintenance of the network.
How often do you, so it doesn't necessarily
It doesn't necessarily, but I'm gonna say traditionally it has, but it is half.
Is that something negotiation, like having living increase? Relation.
Contract's a contract, Barb.
Well, it's negotiable once. Beginning. I think whatever we set, if should we go this issue, whatever we sign ultimately is going to be enforced for 10 years. Sure, I mean, that's right. So was it 7. So was it 2 applications.
And we've done this in other communities. Nobody has asked us to renegotiate. Because we have to go to the guy partner. Hey, we want to build Wildwood. However, like Ramona said, we don't know. That's why we make sure we got pieces in the contract that allow the every so often. Usually what happens is that customers come to us and they say, hey, we want to add another shelf. Or we want to upgrade the service. If we need to negotiate, I mean, let's say something catastrophic happens.
95.
Do you, what can you change the channel? Prove it, or, you know,
We try not. Well, we try not to. So I know that that's. We have not had to cross channel. We're not gonna pay, therefore. We don't afford to do that. I mean, our business. is. I know. People get pretty upset about that pretty quickly. And your scores start to go down, so. We've actually had it. 2 years ago, we have not limited out of a lineup.
With your system as it goes in today, in your today, you've got a new technology for going in next fall. You upgrade our system to the current technical processes in place as of every year. We're gonna have people that sign up for this 5 years from today have a better system. Stuff with our next 5 years.
So what we can't do, is we can't say, whatever technology comes out in the future, we're gonna make. We don't know what that is. We haven't. We believe that fiber optics is new for not only the next 10 years. So we can say that we don't know what.
I think that's basically what I'm saying is if you have new things to offer next door, they haven't signed up. Now, will we get those new things that would have been available to us, waited 5 more years or whatever? In other words, you're going to continue to upgrade our system to the current best system that you have to offer.
is that part of the every 2 years?
It's part of the technology review. We do have these features, but at your business, it takes about a year to get everything down. We all settle in. They're minute about changed. That would be when we say, okay, this is we will be left.
I would say too, from like a bandwidth perspective, like we're estimating most people are going to need maybe around 2 gigs by 2030. Our system today can do all the way up to 10. And Calix, the system that we use, they're already talking about 50 gigs. And it's supposed to be compatible with the fiber system we have in place today. So there's plenty of room to grow there as far as what the future looks like from a bandwidth.
Where is NASA TV? That's longer channel. Maybe it's the street. Let me just see it. No cable drop. You know, now we can't watch cable.
Yeah, they have an app.
They probably have their own.
Is the door fee negotiable?
That one is, originally, that one, we actually had come out originally, we did want to try to keep the rate as low as possible. For no door fee, originally, that was my original proposal. This came about because we were trying to, originally we had a wrong date and then trying to see if it could be signed earlier. That can be negotiable, but it would have to be tied to other aspects.
Well, the problem with it is we've got a 10-year contract. That's a long contract. We currently have a 5-6-year contract, and the door fee we got with that contract is pretty comparable to what you're offering for 10 years. So that makes your door fee a little low for that length of time.
On the other side of that is that because we are putting in this $1.5 billion system, the other provider who gave you probably a commiserate door fee didn't put a dime into your system at that time. That's where sometimes it's hard for us because we want it as much as we can, but there is that aspect that we are investing also.
All right, ready? All right, so I just want a little bit of a warning. I'm going through several layers to get this here. This is going through Zoom. So the people on Zoom can see it too, but it's delayed from what you're saying. It's about 4 to 5 seconds delayed. So what you're watching right now is our live TV box. So this is the box that you've seen. It's really small. It's wireless, so it doesn't have to go attached to that coaxial outlet in your room. You can put it anywhere. What I like about it is it's regular cable box. When you first turn on your TV, it starts off on the last channel that you were on. The reason why I mentioned that is we have a streaming app that I gave my father a Fire Stick years ago, and it took him a while to figure out how to do the apps and all that. And he ended up saying, just give me a cable box. So for those people that want just a cable box, that's what this is. But if you were to download the app, the guide looks exactly the same as it does on the box. So you get all of your channels, and you get all your programming the same way if you use the app. So I just wanted to explain the differences. So on the box, there's a guide button on the remote. You push that, very simple, brings up your guide. We have a couple of cool features. One of them is called Catch Up. So you can go back in time up to 3 days and watch something even if you didn't record it on the DVR. So I'm going to scroll back here. I can see it scrolling on mine, but it's a little delayed here. So let's say I wanted to go back a couple days. Let's say we wanted to watch, this is from Sunday, 1/7 at 11 p.m. So if I press OK and click Watch from Catch Up, it automatically jumps to that point in time. And this works with all of the channels that have a little green circle. I would say more than 90% of our channels. So anything that has the little green arrow pointing back is called the catch-up channel. Allows you to go back. And then you can also go forward in the guide to schedule recording. So you have the DVR. If you want to go in the future to see what's coming up, you use the right arrow key, you scroll into the future. And let's say you wanted to record, for example, Sports Center. There's a record button on the remote, just push that. It pops up on the bottom and it says record just this episode. It's kind of covered by the Zoom thing. But you click on that and it records the one program. And then we also have a feature called Create a One Pass. A One Pass is basically like a customizable list for the DVR power users, right? Maybe they want to record everything, including reruns, or maybe they only want new episodes. So this will allow you to really dial in your settings for the DVR. And you can also do some things, it's hard to see because it's covered. You could also do some cool things like starting early or ending late on a recording. And this is good for like sports programming when they go into overtime. Sometimes it cuts you off right at the end of the recording. This system allows you to add up to 3 hours at the end of the recording, or you can start up to 10 minutes early. That way you catch everything in the beginning and end. And when you save it, it saves it as a profile. So now, whatever channel you select to record, it's automatically going to apply those settings. So you don't miss overtime or it'll start early, depending on what you like. We have the Google Voice that's built into the remote. So right in the middle, there's a little colorful button. You just push it and you talk to it. Golf channel. It's about a few seconds. There it goes. It's fast on here, just a little bit delayed.
Is it like Siri where it doesn't understand my English?
I'm actually surprised. This is really accurate because it's powered by Google. It's very accurate and it's really sensitive. Sometimes if you push it and you're just talking, it'll start picking other conversations up. quiet. I found that it's pretty accurate. Even people that have a little bit of an accent or, you know, their English is not perfect, it still picks it up pretty accurate.
Is it sending what, advertisements to your computer then?
This, if you don't sign in or anything, it just uses Google. But this doesn't do any tracking or anything like that unless you want it to. If you sign in and you want Google to, you know, recommend things, then it'll have to do that. But by default, it doesn't do that unless you want. So that was the remote. I don't like this channel because they're showing old movies and the picture quality is not representative of what we offer. So I always go back to ESPN. Picture's a little better there. Some other cool things about the voice remote, you can search TV shows, movies. So show me movies by Tom Cruise. So it's thinking, it's going. I'm on my hotspot today too, so it's a little bit. But what it does is it'll actually search across all the different apps. So right, Netflix, Amazon Prime. And if you're signed into one of those, it'll recommend them based on the things that you're signed in. I'm gonna try one more time. Show me movies by Tom Cruise. There it goes. It's on here. Okay. So you can see it searches across the internet. And when you pick on one of the programs, it'll then tell you like what it's available on. So it's an aggregate of all the different streaming services that exist today. This is a really nice feature because it might, maybe you've been interested in Hulu, but you don't have it today. So it'll tell you to install Hulu. But if you do have it, for example, like I'm signed into Amazon, it says it's available on Prime Video, I could play it through there and not have to pay for it. That's one really nice feature about us is, you know, Spectrum and Comcast, they always try to get you to pay for the on-demand version. It might be $3 or $5. With us, you have a wide selection. You can always go for the free one and you're not spending any extra money. And then we also have, the App Store built in. So this box, what I like about it is it has over thousands of apps available through Google. If you go into the menu,
Does it update regularly?
it does. Yeah, it updates automatically every night, so you always have the latest versions. What I like about this is even if you don't have a smart TV, I think somebody mentioned if you have an old TV, what happens? This system will work. So it has an HDMI port on the back, but we also have an adapter that will break out to like those different color cables for the older TVs. So it'll work with those. And now you can get these apps that you wouldn't otherwise get on the older TV. So these are all the apps that are available through Google. You don't have to use these, but they're available for those that want to do streaming. Things like YouTube TV, Fox, NFL has their own app now. Paramount Plus is really popular now. Those are all available.
There's too many, yeah.
There's a lot of apps, so that's why I mentioned this is really, this is for the advanced people. If you don't really do any streaming today, what I like about it is like my dad just wants a cable box. It works just like a cable box. I can give any of you this remote. The guide button is really easy to access. So it's easy for those people that are getting started, but it's also kind of a gateway. As you use this, you'll start to learn more about apps. And then you'll realize, why didn't I do this before? So it's pretty cool.
Question for people who do rely solely on streaming, do you have to navigate through this sort of cable system to get to your apps, or do they come up on first turn on?
Like a source, you have a source button, you just push it.
Yeah, so this does have the like an input to change, but I think what you're talking about is if there are big streamers today, they probably already have a Fire Stick or a Roku or a Apple TV. So they can continue to use that how it is today, and they can download our app on that device. So we have
you would just appear as an app on the Apple TV.
Correct. Correct. And then if you go into the app, then you would get this. So it's kind of like the opposite of what.
Very much like what we have now with.
Yes. Okay. Can you tell how you can get Netflix?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So Netflix is easy because there's a Netflix button, but you could also tell Google Netflix.
You have to be signed in with it, right?
To watch Netflix, you do have to have an account with them. But if you subscribe to them, you sign in, you can watch it right on the box.
And you only have to sign in that one time.
Yeah. Once you do it one time, it saves, and then you just go back in.
And really, like, this is part of when we go back, make it easy to do, to have it ready to go for streamers. So what we try to do is figure out a way. Like PVR. We built that in, you can use one remote, you have to change it into it, remove some of the that you would have used to strengthen it to have it, you would go to cable TV and get streaming. So like a Netflix or any of the apps that you're signed into in the box, you get by saying it.
That also coordinate with your TV to turn it on and off.
Correct. So one remote. This would be one thing to control your TV and your apps. It's got a power button, volume. It does all of that. And even if you have a sound bar or home theater, it'll program itself to work with those as well. It's kind of, I know what you see right now. It looks like a lot because we have all the Zoom stuff on the screen too. So it is making it seem overwhelming. It's really, I don't think it's really that difficult. I think once you get into it and you start playing with it, it feels like a regular cable box at first. And then you can always step into the apps when you get more comfortable. And we've done trainings. One of the things, like Ramona mentioned, our account managers do trainings. Jackie and I have done trainings to teach people how to use the box, how to use the Fire Stick, because it is something new, and that's probably one of the biggest challenges. It's a new thing. It's easy to use, but it's a change from what they have today.
What do you do when somebody sells a unit, you get new owners, you train them?
Absolutely, yep. So they would get the same experience that the first customer had.
Can I ask you, what is a home protection plan?
The home protection plan is it's sort of like an insurance plan. It has some different features in there. But if you have pets maybe that they've eaten cable before or repeatedly, the home protection just makes it so that you don't have to, pay for something like that if you cut the line. If it happens once, I've seen the tax say it's okay, don't worry about it. But if it's like a repeat thing, the home protection will cover that. It'll cover all of the equipment as well, like if spilled water on it or something like that. Normal use cases, like if it just dies on its own, it stopped working, that's covered by us. You would replace the equipment. But if maybe somebody stepped on it or fell into a pool, I don't know, that's something that's outside of the normal realm of use, and that's what the home protection.
What about lightning strike?
Lightning strikes as well the home protection plan would cover that. It's really rare though because fiber doesn't conduct electricity. So with the cable system that you have today, like Ramona mentioned earlier, copper conducts electricity. So if lightning strikes one of your neighbors out with your current system today, could potentially go through the line and go house to house and knock out your modem. I've seen modems go bad for no reason, and it's usually from a surge or something like that. Because these have fiber connected to the network, it doesn't conduct electricity, so that virtually doesn't happen.
But they're still plugged in.
They're plugged in.
They're plugged into the power.
So there's a possibility of power surges.
Correct. It depends on where the surge comes. If you have a surge protector, you should protect from something like that.
I don't have surge protector, you should.
Appreciate it very much. Thank you. Very complete. Yeah. It shows you.
I know that you guys mentioned that you're having do you have an idea of when you guys are going to step as far as next steps or anything?
So how much lead time do you need prior to the expiration of
Probably, the more time, the better planning aspect of it is.
Well, just to answer your question, that got obviously to deal with another presentation, and the Spectrum is going to talk to us. So we need, maybe 30 days or so to be moved down the line to see more what's available to us. So I would put it in that.
When is the contract?
Contract's up on October 30th of 2025.
You need an answer by October 30th, 2024. Theoretically. You'd like it sooner.
The latest, yeah. Great.
Good.
And one more question for you. How long is it proposed?
Well, so this, with that door fee offer was for closing within the end of March.
Of this year?
The pricing will change if we don't do this until 2024. Until, with,
This, you know, obviously.
We go beyond March 30th.
They change it, they could modify or amend their proposal.
We make a decision by.
You know, of course.
Argue into your expiration of the contract. So,
For all this work and everything.
yes, yeah, so there's no upcharge, no upcharge, it would just has to be they knew that. You do your budget in October.
No, we start our budget by. So it's what's approved in October, November actually, but I mean, but that, your contract or someone else's contract wouldn't be on the table for us for November this year. Or no, next year, really.
So that 73.50 bulk price, it would start October 25.
Yes.
October 26.
Yes, that would be that right here.
Or it wouldn't, okay, would start October versus December or January 1 or anything like that.
No, it basically, you'll have your guys' system installed and records installed for that October date. But once your current contract expires, that's typically with our.
Starts with the switch over.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank
And,
you.
I got some pieces delivered and some stuff, so please.
Thank you.
That's a tough time. October with so many residents being gone all summer. Yeah, they would need be here for installation.
But unfortunately, it's just, there's no bridge.
No, I know. I'm just saying, it's just gonna be a tough time. People will come back, have to schedule their install. And then they'll be without TV for that.
No, well, what we would do is
They don't
communicate with our
hear that.
residents that were out of town, that before they come back into town, we have like email tablets and everything. Please call Blue Stream a week before you're coming into town, the schedule so that we can be here the day that they're here, so that they really aren't lost.
Everything could be installed.
Cable up to the outside or the fiber.
Right.
Yeah.
Fiber up to the outside and all they've got to do is come in and connect the inside. But that
Just plugging in there.
But still, the idea of getting the fiber routed through your unit wherever you're.
We're gonna take our invisible fiber.
We're getting the other tear that we felt right. I'm looking at some of the.
$11.99.
The whole
Yeah.
menu there.
All me.
Yeah, you get digital core? Yeah, I got the panels. I was just looking at the ones that are in Disney Plus, those that are in sports. Now, yeah. Okay, that's off that. Anyway, those for you. That's something that I paid for my wife.
Is her calling you? Is that?
No.
That's nice.
Thank you. If you have any questions, let us know.
Yeah, we'll do. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Excellent job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Direct your own TV. Thank you.
Mine.
Your jacket.
I can't go put in the courtyard. Quite calculated. I know, that, and it started out 65.
Got half of what I paid up north.
Yeah, we're paying about $69 for cable right now.
Much.
69.
$4. We figured what it would be 2 years. Or
Oh, yeah.
year and a half from
Yeah, okay,
now.
yeah.
the 5% increase.
Yeah, it would be matching there.
Yeah.
And would, by the time it runs out, with another increase, it would be very close to matching their 70.
So it's a comparable price.
Yes.
So we're talking.
We're getting another walk in, another door. which
Now we're
helps
getting
with our
more
operating
than
expenses.
before, because we only got half of that.
Now we got 120, we got 126.
Oh, do we? The other guy got what? 126?
Yeah, but we had to give up a third of it because,
$75.
you know,
year one.
the,
That's their estimate.
our
Year
quote
one.
unquote, term, I can't think of it, our liaison man that got it for us.
Yeah, well, he took a third.
So,
No, you took 25%.
Is that fee to him?
Yeah, yeah.
about 58, 5.
No, he negotiated. He knew what he was doing. He was forward.
Is this gonna be something we conclude in the negotiation dues, or is this something?
No, it's, no, we're committed to provide this in our documents. yeah.
A system like this, so
Yeah.
basically what we're doing is we're taking that budget item that we're paying today, increasing it by somewhere around $4 or $5 per location.
No,
No,
and
no.
by the time that this would take effect, the spectrum would be that much anyway.
Right. We have to, we take that process every year.
And there's another,
Talk at a time so that people on Zoom can understand what's going
We
on.
have to account in our budget process every year.
we will be talking to another company. Theoretically, they wanted to come in this Friday afternoon. And after realizing that, number one, it jammed up, and number two, bridges here, I'm going to move it to a different time. And I don't think it would behoove us to wait to another workshop, so we can pick a time when the second people come in, that those who want to come and see what their proposal is like. Apparently, they're the two major providers of fiber along with, and I talked to Spectrum. Spectrum didn't want to talk to us until after April, because their quote unquote policy is to deal with nothing before 5 months before, the year before the renewal. And I told him, I said, well, if you want to be taken off the table for consideration, it's up to you. It's up to you. And he said, I'll have something for you sometime in January. So,
You know, I look at what we're doing here with our community, and you know, in the past, or recently anyway, we're taking care of issues that are on the table as of now. We've got to start thinking about the future. Outsourcing, for instance, our communication process that we're talking about here is exactly the type of thing we have to do. Just like we've gone with the investment person for our reserves and electric power. We know that someday we're gonna have to look at the solar process too. So I think we need to be doing just what we're doing here, thinking about what we need today, but what we need 10 years from today with this people, and can we grow with that, or is that a short-term project, etc. I'd like to see us continue to do this even when we get security and other things. We got to think about the future. Now, we may not be here, all of us, in 10 years, but the bottom line, our unit will be. That's what's going to make the investment that we made in the beginning worth its while. So I think, you know, as I say here, we look at the computer today, and with us, our generation, what we use with, how many more people such as yourself that are working from home? I myself have a business going through that. I've got a lot of friends that are doing it. My daughter has been into an office in 3 years. There's going to be more of that, and will be in the retirement people, not just the younger people. Tiffany. So I think something like this, which we can grow, we we have some basic power, or I should say, opportunity for things in place that we plan for. And we should be thinking about this for the other items too. So I'm so glad to heard from these people, and I'm looking forward to hearing the other ones too. Yeah, that's a lot better than what we saw last year. Here's what you got.
I didn't really hear a downside. This is a much more flexibility than what we have. I'm not a big streamer, but I'm getting a little bit more. Anybody here who streams a lot?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I pay extra for DVR box, so I wouldn't have to do that now.
Yeah.
Well,
And they
And
said
the
if
rel-
you wanted a third regular box,
It's a nominal. fee.
it's only $10, just like that.
Well, I think there's one thing that we can decide on right now, and that is got to go to fiber optic. Period.
Oh, yeah.
now, liability and one, I mean, that, they're gonna put that in.
That's a given. And then once it's gone past that, it's a matter of who can give us the best program.
It does disturb me with Spectrum. I mean, of course, we want to hear the other options. But with Spectrum, when they're replacing out a cable, they're just laying the new cable, like, just so many inches.
They don't even know, they put it on the grass, send somebody back when they.
I got three.
God, can you set a date for the next presentation?
Well, I'll get the.
I suggest 2 weeks from today.
and
Tuesday morning seems to work.
2 weeks from today, sure. Tuesday. It's probably about the 22nd, something like that,
I'll be on cruise.
Third.
23rd.
We want to do it within 30 days, you know.
Time, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I think what you're gonna find too, when Spectrum comes in, they're gonna be pushing a fiber network, because I think Spectrum's gonna have to go fiber to stay competitive. And you're gonna see a very similar kind of presentation and equipment, and what you're gonna get for that money is gonna be very similar to this.
Well, the next company will be a company called Hotwire, they're the second one that provides here, and then we'll have a Spectrum, and then if there's anything else, yeah, somebody, we could look at it all.
Is there a non-wired possibility?
What do you mean non-wired?
I mean, it doesn't require cable.
So these won't be cable, it'll be fiber optic.
Well,
Well, no, they,
It's like being a hot.
there is a non-wired system. It's the Verizon. It works off of the 5G cell towers. All you get's this little device. It's about that size. Plug it in, Wi-Fi. There is no cables, or fiber run in the property. It grabs it off the 5G towers. Now, the problem with that is you got to have enough 5G towers that's in the area to make that work.
And everybody else is using those.
It still guarantees you, it's equivalent. I don't know if it's,
100, 500?
I don't know if it's 500, but it's probably at least in the 300 range, which I've got
The upside, what about the other side?
You can't guarantee. with solar
Uploaded one, how
farms
about
and-
that?
Well, I'm just saying that system is out there being developed. Verizon's working very hard on that. I don't even know if it's in this area.
Your towers, big issue. Yeah, you don't have the towers.
Yeah, well, and to have 5G, you gotta have a lot of towers. They have to be very close together. They can't be spread apart like they are now. So, I know in central Kentucky where I live, I have a friend who has that, and he just got it. He's experimenting with it. But so far it seems to be working, and he streams. So it's working for him. But I don't know all the it might be one of those things, if it lightnings.
Yeah.
You lose
As I see it, there's some common denominators here, and we can make some correct comparisons. You know, one with wire and one without wire would be one possible, but I think there's something here that we need to look at to say, do we need this? Is this absolute must-have, and those that would be nice to have? Because I think the bottom line, we know what we want to do in the future. That's what I see here, but I don't know some of the questions. A prime example is, you know, as technology goes up, there's a program we used to have in place that we guaranteed a company that we would not make an offer to another company that wasn't exactly or updated there. other words, the best in the nation or whatever it was. The bottom line, I don't want technology to change in 2 weeks and we gotta wait 10 years to get it.
I just want to go back, you work from home. How do you see this conversion over time?
It sounds great. I wouldn't be surprised if something like what Gus is talking about takes over fiber optics. So I don't know if these fibers will only last us 10 years and then we'll upgrade to the next technology. I don't know what's gonna happen.
The next technology is probably gonna be 100% wireless.
Yeah.
But now I will tell you, with the Verizon system, all you get is internet. So now you've got a string or there's no cable. And I don't think that would work for our demographic here right now.
It'd be a tough thing.
Yeah.
Data upgrades. One thing though that I do want to point out, I did a little bit of research last night, and this is not to poop on this company. The presentation was very lovely today, but I do just want to put out for everyone's information that they have about 20% 1-star, and their Better Business Score rating is only a 1.8 out of 5. There are tons of people who are complaining that they did not get what the contract is promising. They had outages. They didn't hear back from service representatives for 3 days. The service representatives didn't know what to do because they contract out to these little independent freelancers. No one works for the company full time to know everything about it. So there were a lot of problems that, the marketing presentation was very nice, but it sounded like a lot of people, even as recent as a few weeks ago, a month ago, 2 months ago, massive negative reviews. There are also positive reviews, so take it with a grain of salt, but I just wanted to add that into the conversation, that it's something to consider.
And they could have explained themselves.
Well, they're just gonna give us the marketing line, and which they already gave us.
Well, they've been to Google.
There's all kinds of ways to
Their
get.
Google reviews are 20% 1-star reviews. So they do have lots of good 5-star reviews too, but I did notice in reading a lot of the 5 stars that a lot of them follow the same format. So I don't know if they did a promotion where, like, if you leave us a 5-star review and mention this and this and this,
They did mention that there are penalties on their end for not meeting.
How many companies do that? Yeah, not many.
And Tiffany, I think you hit on another spot that we need to check on the next group. Let's see what the real best are. I mean, those that are using. So we've got a couple or 3 or 4 technical locations to go to, and standards to look for. Also, they give reference in their presentation. I mean, we're going to talk to some of these other people that are using them too. Maybe visit them or something.
Well, I think you can ask for more than 2. I mean,
Yeah.
I know when I had my company, I didn't put anybody that had a modicum of issues as a reference.
You have a list of people that left.
Believe it or not, not when I had it.
It's still here.
There you go.
She'd give him a good one.
You never know.
That's true. We gotta check it. We're gonna do the basic.
Yeah, we can do it pretty quickly. There's
Yeah.
not much.
Let's run
Got
down.
hot pieces out there,
Let's do pizza. Pizza.
I mean,
Great.
treasury report, you'll have that. And financial statements, John.
Yeah, yeah.
Reserve investment funds,
Yep.
accounts receivable, you'll
Yep.
have unit problems, whole business, billing, repairs.
Yep. Bottom line is that we've signed the contract with the Sureway and got some communications going forward. That's about to develop that we'll talk about, primarily the
Pass them around.
Come on the table?
Yeah, they'll just pass the box around.
primarily there'll be some issues with owners who are going to be somewhat upset that they've put on specialty covers on their decks. And
There should be some in that closet.
well, there's some negative feedback from some of the owners that won't want to remove their.
Do you have a timeline on some of these programs like?
Well, your issue is not labs. Right.
No, we're talking about flat. Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought we were talking about outreach.
Yeah. We.
Oh,
You.
It's just
Yeah.
a matter that there's so many of things out there. that hang in, and I know.
Status, operations manual.
Wait a minute, somebody ate a piece of this pizza. Yeah, we're gonna pass out the operation manual, so you all can look at it, and that'll be in the next meeting.
Big boy first. I think your daughter's calling you and you're worried.
I gotta grab her.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Me over there, Don, let's just supper and.
There you go.
And so in terms of
I
the
don't know
operations
any.
manual,
Kids, you're gonna look at it, and then we'll discuss it in the board.
Probably in the board meeting.
Oh, we're gonna. Hey,
well, let me ask you a question then. Do you want comments ahead of time from us?
but thank
Comments?
You haven't even looked at it. huh? You want me to cut it off or you want to hold it?
you. Yeah, I'll have to hold it. But I'm
You got it?
gonna have. It's not cut. Is it?
Yes, but.
Or something else.
I don't
know, but it doesn't-
Pepperoni's got a fault.
Oh my God.
No.
What was it, Ben?
Oh, that's like.
I was.
Bring it here.
You want me to get you one?
I lost my plate. I don't know. No, it's under here.
Somebody over there.
Maybe of that way.
Save 2 slices of the pepperoni for me. Oh, let me see what's in there.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, they're at lunch right now. Do you want to take one out? What else?
Deli later. Okay. Can I make a proposal? That we put a mini split system on this room? Mini split?
Well,
Sorry, we can't share with the people on Zoom. Oh,
It always seemed to be kind of taboo in the past.
That's pretty good.
what's in that? Oh, it looks pretty. Cinnamon bun. So, yeah.
You walk out there in the hall and walk in here, it's about 10 degrees warmer in here.
Yeah. Well,
It's noticeable.
Which one? Oh,
That's on the outside.
you want, well, I'm gonna get you
Just
six
read the
of,
label.
I'm getting you a tight piece of pepper. Okay, it was pepperoni, right?
okay.
All right, here comes the operation manual.
Yeah.
It's out, the employee manual is out. We did a lot of work on them. Oh, good. What's the meat? Meatball?
Sausage or meatball, I don't know.
Melon? The only really super thin one? Yeah.
Wow, you put a lot of work into this.
Anyway, for you know.
The operation, on the operation manual, you go to your table of contents, you will find everything you want to. From there, you can go anywhere through it. The big changes that we really did were on the disaster preparedness. And the covenant free and we put more steps into it. So that you can understand, you know, when you go through the steps, it's easier to follow. And that preparedness is more detailed so that new people can read it and have a little bit more understanding to it. And then, here. Then,
The operation manual, when we were working on that, actually looked at how we could boost the website with a couple suggestions. Some of it's already been done. And so.
Will these be put on the website or is this something that people in the?
The operation manual will be on the website, and so same way with the employee manual, but the employees, those manuals, the employee manual, there was like 3 different versions floating around. This one will null and void all the others, and the employees should get a copy of it. And that too should be on the website. The operation manual, yeah, it should be on the website. And when new people come in, they could get it in their packet.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, I'm sorry, I would have got
You
you
want
one.
one?
Pepperoni? Yep, that's fine.
But I'm sorry, I would have got you one.
Anybody else? Mama? Want to know?
Good, thank you. One, okay, go ahead, Tammy.
On the employee manual, a lot of it was really old and very condescending towards the employees, like they didn't know what was going on. And these, our employees are professional, they understand. If you sit and watch them at any, like our lawn workers, when they are doing their job, they know how to streamline things, they know how to do things that I would never ever think about doing. Cutting down a palm tree, they make it really cool to watch. Anyway, and so we did a lot of wording changing just so it wasn't condescending. There is asterisks in certain areas that while you're reading through it, there's little asterisks. At the very end, there is a there's understanding of agreements upon hiring. They've gone through the entire manual. This one will now be the signing of each one of their areas of the discipline policy, the safety rules and regulations. Now this is where they sign it. This part gets ripped off and put into their file. So if they have an issue, it's like, no, you've already gone over this. You signed it, but they still have all of that information in their packet. So, but it's also in their file, so they can't come back and say, oh, I never heard that. You didn't know that because it's already here and you signed it. So that covers that. And it also, we upgraded the grievance process and explaining. You hope that all grievances were taken care of prior to, and never get to that level of going to the grievance committee, but they do have an outlet so that they can be heard, and it shows the process that they go through in a little bit more detail, so it's clear to them. So, but that's what these are. They're just up. We didn't, like I said, our mission was not to invent the wheel, but just fix it.
Very good.
So, great.
And we good?
Fingerprint on that one. So, but that's where we're at.
All right.
Wait,
Next time.
Steve, wait a second. One of the things, is the document dated? Is
Yes.
it like a version, and then the thing they sign needs to have that date on there to
Yes.
that version?
Signature and date.
All through it. And on the operation manual, after the March meeting, when you change board members, that's on the website where you could update that. And also all of the committee workers, anybody who's a committee chair or whoever he nominates, those names get changed to every March. And it's at the bottom of the page stating it will be changed at the end of the March.
Great, next item. Property insurance amendment.
think we had a celebratory date today, and basically which will be announcing to the world what results were.
Ready, that's what might say on this.
Now, there's a chance that there could be a couple night hits. Indications are going right now that the 50 to 150% increase has not been happening. So we might have a break there. And then, of course, there will be some break in what we've done. So it's hard to estimate. You know, but the good news is the trend hasn't been 100%, 150% like we've been led to believe it's going to happen. And storm season's over. No fun, yeah.
Steel coating of the boulevard.
Yeah, well, you approved that, and they're getting ready to schedule it. And this will be a feat in itself, just to figure out how we're going to do it because you just can't close one lane because then you close communities off totally. So he's developing the schedule now for us.
I'm sure they've done it before.
Sometimes it's just to also try to do it at night. There'd be less traffic.
That's
They may need lights out there though.
a good point. Well, we'll see what they do.
They've done it.
Sure. Yeah.
Annual meeting?
The reason I put that on there now is because there'll be a mailing probably to go out for our next for our board meeting this week, and there'll be the notification of the March 13th that we've already talked about, and who's scheduled for election, things of that nature.
New business?
When is
It'll go out 40 days before, so we're meeting on the 18th.
Okay.
We're meeting on the 15th, so it'll be very close to have gone out the day before or something of that nature. I'll be working on it today, as a matter of fact.
New business?
Communication, there'll be a couple of communications.
Next one we already did.
Well, I put that on there because it will notify people that we're starting to look at it, and the people come to the meeting will have a better understanding that we're going to look at it more than just one, and if there's going to be a time-consuming thing, we'll just have it on there. As time goes forward.
Very good. Manager's report, you'll have that.
Yep.
Manager's report, director's report.
I have a question. Came up with one of my neighbors. There were some carrotwood trees that were pruned.
Yeah.
Question, not a criticism. We haven't done it in a long time. Is there a reason why we're doing it all? Not all of it.
Well, yeah, they were trying to get them all, but ones we haven't got. Number one, we're trying to do it in-house this year versus spending money with Brown. So the only time we can do them is when we're kind of slow, which is this time of year. There's one in the corner, but the cars are under them. For some reason, so I just sent Eddie to do what we could do when we can. We're ahead of the game, and we're not as capable of doing them as Brownwood with their lifts and everything like that. It's a little scary because the guys get up into the trees, stand on ladders and things like that. We're saving $300 on each tree that we do in the house. So
Is there a reason why they're doing it now and haven't done them on a couple of years?
yeah, I mean, if we got time to do them,
Oh, cool.
simple as that.
Are the trees median?
Oh yeah, they grow like weeds, 7 foot a year.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've taken out half of them. Period.
There's, John, on that subject, there's one that's growing by, is it Pool 7? By Oakview, that's Pool 7, right?
No.
There was the one that went down in the storm a couple of years ago, but then next to that, and they've left that, I mean, there's a stump over there that's 4 or 5 feet tall. I would think that just needs to go away.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at it on a daily basis. Eddie and I are going out and seeing what we can do before we have to do something else. Like, we got a couple of weeks where we don't cut the grass. So we'll develop 3 days to do this. And that
Okay, but there's a one that's popped up next to the one that got trashed in the storm.
Look at it.
It's about 8 feet tall. I like, do we really want another Carrot would grow.
No, we don't need carrot.
Okay,
Well,
cool.
that was basically my question when I was talking about high price. Not a case of when.
No,
We have a plan that's going out there on these trees and we're picking them up on a regular basis.
no, it's just gonna,
Going out.
we're just getting what,
Can't remember.
in other words, we've done some in the 7s and the 6s because we were also doing some weeding in that area and everything like that. So we're trying to keep everybody together.
They trimmed back the 2 big cheffleurs in Oakwood.
Yeah, I took them over there.
Can they cut them back farther? Like,
Well,
Do you already have people
and
complaining?
then we got a situation again, the big Jose ended up with some vacation time. He squeezed in at the end of the year, so that cut a guy back. Alonso's off sick with some sort of flu. The doctor wants to keep away for a week so he doesn't generate issues like last year. So now we're back him. So there's reasons how we get more done some days and less on the other days.
Doing a good job. I'm happy with.
have you had complaints about cutting those cheffleurs?
No, mostly carrotwoods we've hit, but we've hit some cephalaris, but I want to get carrotwoods first because they're the most pollen competent. We want to get rid of the cephalaris because they're the dirty.
It'll be interesting to see, because the way they cut them back, if any of the residents over there complain about not having the shade, and if they don't complain.
Oh, we're gonna get shade comb. I guarantee you, those carrotwoods and those
No,
cephalaris.
I'm talking about just losing the shade.
What? That's enough?
No,
For you. Neat. I need that. Thank you.
But if you don't get complaints, and they'd cut them back pretty far. I mean, if you don't get complaints,
Come back further.
take them all the way down.
Dump 'em.
There's no such thing. You know how far? We had the Critical Bay Club. Neil put them in front of every single building. And we cut them back and cut them back and cut them down to the bottom. You get the root system, you have to literally put chains and bring in heavy duty trucks to pull out the roots. They're so invasive.
They're back in the landscape area, just leave it.
They come in my courtyard still, and those 2 carrotwoods behind my courtyard in the alley were cut down 20 years ago. And I'm still getting the roots.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, that's what a cheffleur is gonna do too, but if you get rid of them, leave a small stump back in the landscape, you're not gonna see it.
The herbiciding the root ball, like after we cut it down,
Have not,
so they'll probably recur.
shouldn't start on anything. They're pretty good.
Down. But light hills.
Okay.
It was Springs Boulevard. The only one that was good for was Halloween.
Yeah.
But that was in between Woodlawn and Lakeside. Those are really getting big.
We're working on them.
Yeah, anything else? What we're doing, anybody, on Zoom want to say anything?
Anybody want to add anything to the agenda?
Zoom.
That's good, Roger.
Yeah, Steve, I do have a question or a comment, and it has to do, goes back to the internet and the cable stuff. I was approached yesterday after the owners meeting, wanting to know, are we going to establish an ad hoc committee for the process of going through those contracts? And it seems to me that our ad hoc committee is going to be the board based on what we did today. Is that a true statement that we could make? That we are the committee this time?
Let me address that now. First of all, just for some history. Last time we negotiated, it went through an ad hoc committee, but it ultimately went to the board. And quite frankly, the board changed almost 100% of what the ad hoc committee did, not because they were critical. They just had, they just didn't go with what the ad hoc committee said. We certainly can set up an ad hoc committee, but it's ultimately going to be the board's responsibility.
Yeah, and I'm not suggesting that we set up the committee, John. I was just asked the question. It makes more sense to me that the board is the committee.
I agree.
Agree.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else? You ready to adjourn?
The longest work that we have ever had. Tiffany's ready for lunch. No,
I just-
I was a-
Thank you. Oh, my goodness.
Patience. Did you get